The parable of the talents, as recorded in Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30, is one of the most profound teachings of Jesus regarding stewardship, responsibility, and investment. At its core, this parable is not merely about financial management, but about the broader principle of using one's gifts, opportunities, and resources wisely. Jesus presents this parable as part of his eschatological discourse, emphasizing the need for active faith and diligent service in preparation for his return. This commentary will explore the historical and cultural context of the parable, clarify the meaning of the term talent, and highlight the importance of investment both materially and spiritually. Understanding the context of the parable is set within Jesus' teachings on the kingdom of heaven. It follows the parable of the 10 virgins and precedes the description of the final judgment. Together, these teachings stress readiness, faithfulness, and the consequences of inaction. The structure of the parable is straightforward. A master, preparing for a long journey, entrusts his servants with his wealth. Each servant receives an amount according to his ability. One receives 5 talents, another 2, and the last one. Upon the master's return, he calls them to account. The first 2 servants double their investments and receive commendation, while the last servant, out of fear, hides his talent and faces severe punishment. What were talents? The term talent in the parable does not refer to a skill or natural ability, as commonly interpreted in modern English. Instead, a talent was a unit of weight, typically used to measure gold or silver. In the Greco-Roman world and Jewish culture, a single talent was an enormous sum of money. Scholars estimate that 1 talent was equivalent to about 60 denarii. Given that 1 denarius was the typical daily wage for a laborer, a single talent represented approximately 16 years' worth of wages. This means that the servant entrusted with 5 talents received an amount equivalent to 80 years' wages, significant responsibility. In financial terms, the master's delegation of talents symbolizes God's entrusting of his resources, whether they be time, wealth, abilities, or spiritual gifts to individuals. These resources are given in varying measures according to each person's capacity to handle them. The importance of investment. The parable conveys a powerful message about the necessity of investment and wise stewardship. The first 2 servants immediately put their talents to work, recognizing that wealth is not meant to be hoarded, but grown. The master's response to their efforts highlights 3 key principles about investment. Diligence leads to growth. The first 2 servants actively engaged in trade, doubling their talents. Their actions suggest a mindset of productivity, effort, and trust in their ability to generate returns. This principle is applicable in both financial investment and spiritual service. Fear leads to stagnation. The third servant, paralyzed by fear, buries his talent. His excuse, fear of the master's strictness, demonstrates a failure to understand the master's expectations. Rather than taking a calculated risk, he opts for total inaction. This behavior reflects the mindset of those who refuse to engage with opportunities out of fear of failure. Accountability is inevitable. Upon the master's return, each servant is held accountable for their actions. The first two servants are rewarded, while the third is condemned. This accountability underscores the biblical principle that God expects individuals to use what they have been given for His glory and for the benefit of others. Investing in the modern context, while the parable has spiritual implications, it also carries profound lessons for financial and personal investment. Some key takeaways include: 1. Financial investment. The parable strongly supports the principle of financial growth through investment. The master explicitly states that the least the third servant could have done was deposit the talent with bankers to earn interest. This suggests that even passive investment is better than total inaction. In modern terms, this could mean investing in businesses or stocks rather than hoarding money, utilizing financial resources to generate wealth that can benefit one's family and community, engaging in entrepreneurship, real estate, or other means of economic productivity. 2. Investing in skills and knowledge. In a broader sense, talents can also represent intellectual and professional abilities. Individuals are given different skills, and the parable encourages them to refine and expand their capabilities rather than let them go to waste. Practical applications include pursuing education and continuous learning, enhancing professional skills to increase employability and effectiveness, using talents to create opportunities for others. 3. Spiritual investment. The parable also teaches about investing in one's spiritual life and the work of the kingdom. Just as the servants were entrusted with their master's wealth, believers are entrusted with the gospel and spiritual gift. Investing spiritually means actively engaging in good works and charitable activities, spreading the message of faith and helping others grow spiritually, using one's influence to build a more just and compassionate society. The consequences of neglecting investment. The fate of the third servant is particularly sobering. His inaction results in severe punishment. Not only is his talent taken away, but he is cast into outer darkness. This symbolizes the consequences of wasted opportunities. Jesus warns that inaction and complacency lead to loss, both in this life and in eternity. His story serves as a cautionary tale for those who refuse to engage with their resources, be they financial, intellectual, or spiritual. The principle of use it or lose it is evident. What is neglected diminishes, while what is cultivated multiplies. Conclusion. A call to action. The parable of the talents is a profound lesson in responsibility, faithfulness, and the necessity of investment. It urges individuals to recognize that all resources, wealth, time, skills are entrusted by God. Actively seek to grow and use these resources wisely. Overcome fear and complacency to maximize potential. Understand that accountability is inevitable and rewards or consequences will follow. This parable remains as relevant today as it was in Jesus' time. Whether in business, personal development, or spiritual life, the message is clear. Investment leads to growth, while inaction leads to loss. By embracing this principle, individuals can ensure that they hear the commendation, "Well done, good and faithful servant."